You are Locked On Heat Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Miami on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What is up, Heat fans? Welcome to another episode of your Locked On Heat Postcast. My name is Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease, and the Heat in Mexico City to take on the Washington Wizards. Yeah, it was a good one for Miami to win this game, 118-98. Look, the Heat, great representatives for the NBA going overseas. That Heat culture travels and plays well anywhere, right? But what I want to talk about tonight, and I'm going to get to it throughout the show because it was all about International Bam. That's right, International Bam hits different. International Bam is a different breed. International Bam is a different player because International Bam, every time International Bam goes international and plays basketball off of American soil, good things happen for Bam Adebayo. And I'll tell you what, the Heat Center was magnificent today. Last time International Bam was doing his thing, he was in Paris, putting everybody night-night with Steph Curry and Kevin Durant and Devin Booker and LeBron James and Team USA. And International Bam at it again tonight in Mexico City with a 32-point performance where he was fantastic. 32 points, 20 of them in the first half. He had 14 rebounds, shot 14 of 24 from the field. Jimmy Butler adds 18. Tyler Herro, we need a hero, scores 15. Terry Rozier, 12 for the Miami Heat. They go to 3-2. Jaime Jacques Jr. scores 8 for Miami in his first game playing in his father's country. Extremely meaningful for him tonight. And how about Kel'El Ware, 15 points off the bench for Miami. Bilal Coulibaly led Washington with 22 points. They're 2-3, by the way. Jordan Poole acting a fool, 21 points. And Alessandro Sarr had 17. And the NBA will be continuing this series in Mexico as the NBA every year goes and plays a game in Mexico City. I actually have never been to Mexico City. I've been to so many places in Mexico, but it looks so much fun. And International Bam loves it. We know that. You're watching Locked On Heat Postcast. My name is Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease. And I'll tell you what, man, at Jim Grease _ on social media. Busy day, busy weekend. We had the Hurricanes Postcast. 9-0 for the U, baby. 9-0 as Cam Ward and the Canes rout Duke. And they go to 9-0 on the season, undefeated still. 3 more games regular season. Hey, conference championship right after that. And then, yeah, it's the playoff. It is the playoff. Real quick, want to do a couple of things. First things first, Grease takes care of business, and that business would be to remind you that your favorite podcast now has a newsletter. That's right, Locked On just keeps growing leaps and bounds, right? Introducing the Locked On Heat Daily Newsletter. One stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com. Start your day with the all-new free Locked On Heat newsletter. And while I'm taking care of business, standing on business, as they like to say these days, standing on business, I remind you that tonight's show is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. I mean big. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Imagine it's 100 times your money. 100, never mind Grant Cardone, the 10X. This is 100X. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Yay. And here we go. I got to drop the Ice Cube after what he did to the Yankees. And like Ice Cube against Fat Joe was about as competitive as the Yankees versus the Dodgers. But yeah, Bam Adebayo, 20 of his 32 points in the first half. Miami came out smoking tonight. Not smoking, you know what I'm saying? They weren't, and I know you knew that. But what I mean is, 20 of the 32 points for Bam came in the first half. Miami shot the lights out early. They took the lead, never looked back. They were up 10 at the end of the first quarter, 31-21. And in the second quarter, like a little bit of a lull for Miami, and Washington kind of came back on them a little bit. And they outscored them by 2, so it's still an 8-point lead for Miami at halftime. And then in the third quarter, a quarter in which Miami has been badly outscored, badly beaten, badly just thrashed throughout this season. Not to be the case tonight. In the third quarter, they came out and outscored the Wizards 33-22. And then in the fourth, it was pretty much even, 29-28 Miami. But, a nice job by the Heat tonight. Good job coming out fast, starting the game, taking the lead, cruising a little bit in the second quarter, keeping that lead, a little bit of back and forth there. And then in the third, you didn't let the doldrums happen. You didn't let things fall apart. You did not let things fall apart. And a lot of that has to do with who you're playing. It's the Wizards. The Heat were a 9.5-point favorite tonight. The over-under was 224. Both of them, although the over didn't come in, did it? Now that I had that up. Where to go, genius, with your University of Miami degree? Wow. How about this? Let me see. Yeah, so it really was a game for Miami. And look, I mean, you can't discount who they're playing, right? Obviously, it's a home game for the Wizards, and they're the ones who get that home game in Mexico City for a reason, because their own fan in Washington, they're not a big deal. So, look, Kuzma's out with whatever's going on with him, the suspension and all that, the conduct detrimental to the team. You got Coulibaly's not bad, and then you got, obviously, Jordan Poole. And Jordan Poole, a lot of Warriors fans. My brother's a diehard Warriors fan. It has been since I'm talking since Run TMC. And he swears they never should have gotten rid of Jordan Poole. He's still play. He's 8 of 18 tonight, 21 points, but he's minus 22. Coulibaly's minus 22. Not going to get it done. And how about Bam tonight, plus 25, and Rozier, plus 29 with 12 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds. The TNT boys, Tyler Herro and Terry Rozier. Tyler with 6 rebounds, 15 points, shot 3 of 6 from 3. I mean, Miami was just getting it done on both sides tonight. And international Bam. It's the international Bam. Every time he goes international, I mean, Miami's an international city. Can you imagine if Bam were 7 feet or 7'1"? This dude's 6'9", and he dominates guys bigger than him. It's unbelievable. Miami shot 42%, 41 for the Wiz. The difference in the game is really that Washington shot 7 for 35 from 3. That's 20%. That is god-awful, and obviously that's not going to get it done. It is not going to get it done, and who are the big culprits in that? Obviously, the shot's not going down. You know what I'm saying? The shots are not going down, and when your shots aren't going down, you know what I'm saying? What is the who's going to be the guy? Who are going to be the guys taking them? It's going to be the guys that you're hoping are going to carry you. With the Heat, it's always Tyler and Terry and Jimmy, and Bam doesn't, except he's red hot. He does on a night like tonight. But the 3-point shooting, it was Poole, 2 for 8. It was George, 0 for 6, and a brutal night. How often do you see Sean George go 0 for 6 like that for them? I mean, just not a good night shooting the basketball. George, 2 for 9 overall, 0 for 6 from 3. Poole was 8 of 18, but 2 for 8 from 3. And Carrington, he's 0 for 5, man. Carlton Carrington, 0 for 5, and he's a starting guard for you. So you're not going to have a lot of success with that. And Kispert off the bench is 0 for 6. So your best shooters are abysmal from behind the arc tonight, and that's a big reason why they lost this game. The 3-point shooting, terrible for Washington, very good for Miami, 40%. Again, 15 for 37. Out rebounding the Wizards, 65-44. Miami, when their front court plays well like that, they're going to win. They won the rebounding battle. They killed on the offensive glass, 21-8. They won the 3-point shooting battle. Assists about even, turnovers about even. Points off the break, 35-12 for the Wizards. That's a problem for Miami. They've had a lot of problems being badly outscored in transition earlier this year and tonight, of course, and outscored 58-48 points in the paint again tonight. Miami's constantly being outscored in the paint, constantly, you know what I mean? It's just it's crazy when you think of how much they won the rebounding battle by and then how much they lost the points in the paint by. It wouldn't seem that they'd go hand in hand, especially with the Heat having so many offensive rebounds. With 21 offensive rebounds, they have a lot more points in the paint, but sometimes the numbers just don't add up. And that's the way it is tonight. You're watching your Locked On Heat postcast. My name is Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease. The Heat in Mexico City with an impressive win, 118-98 over the Wizards of Washington. Miami goes to 3-2 on the season. The Wiz, nobody beats the Wiz. Yes, they do. The Wiz go to 2-3 and 1-3 at home. They lost another home game tonight. The Heat go to 2-0 on the road. They come back for Sacktown. And you got a pretty good team there with Fox and Sabonis and the Kings, you know what I mean? Or I still almost have to call them the Queens, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, you're watching Locked On Heat Postcast. The Heat win by 20. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease at Jim Grease _ on social media. Don't forget tomorrow, I love you tomorrow. I don't know if you're going to love tomorrow. I'm trying to paint the rose-colored glasses picture for you best I can and let you know that we have the Locked On Dolphins postcast tomorrow. We have all the reason in the world to be optimistic. Do we? I don't know if we do. The Bills are 6-2. The Dolphins 2-5. It doesn't matter who the quarterback's been. Tua's back, but it doesn't matter for Miami. It hasn't mattered so far. They're 2-5. A gut check, a character check, a look in the mirror time. Bring your lunch pail and see what happens. They have to face 6-2 Buffalo, and the Bills way ahead in the division. The Jets got to win, and they're 3-6. The Dolphins need a win to be 3-5 and try to keep pace now with the Jets, Jets. So Dolphins postcast tomorrow right after that game. Remember, the clocks go forward, so it'll be a 2 p.m. start for you tomorrow. Or rather, it'll be a 1 p.m. start tomorrow for Buffalo, but the clocks go forward is what I'm saying. So, yeah, the clocks go forward, so it'll be an hour later. And, yeah, I'm not a math major with that University of Miami degree. You're watching Locked On Heat Postcast. Going to talk a little bit more about the Butler, Jimmy D. Butler. Remember that anime series? If you haven't seen it, I don't even remember the name of it, but Jimmy D. Butler is here for you. Oh, it's great. It's absolutely great. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease. Locked On Heat Postcast rolling on. Un momento, por favor. Which is just a fancy way for me to beg for time to talk to you about FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, right? America's #1 sports book, because right now new customers can bet $5 make you holla. $5 will make you holler with FanDuel. And why would that be? Because you get $5 and $150 in bonus bets if you win. When you bet $5, $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of a game, and what football fan doesn't, right? Why is he running that play? You can check the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page when you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the National Football League. There you have it. FanDuel with those crazy specials, man. $5 make you holler. You bet $5 to get a $150 bonus when you win that bet. I mean, that is just, come on now. Almost want to leave that graphic up the whole show. Not my choice to make, but I'll tell you what, we have great sponsors here on the Locked On Podcast Network, and FanDuel is absolutely one of them. 118-98, the Miami Heat beat the Washington Wizards. Largest lead of the night for Miami was 24. Again, they were favored by 9.5. The over-under was 224.5. The attendance over 20,000. Mexican fans love their hoops, though, for real. And how about when Jacques Jr. took the Rock coast to coast, man? The Mexican fans letting him hear it. His father's born there. I mean, but really, what did the Mexican fans do? To be honest, who did they hurt? What did they do? Like, what was their crime that they would have to get the Washington Wizards going there for the home game? And look, the NFL's sending like everybody to London now. The World Football League never worked out, but it's going global because they're following the UFC's model, which is what Dana White's done from the beginning. Corner to corner of the world, everybody loves a fight. Not so much with the NFL. Even soccer's not big here. So the world model, and the NBA has a chance. It's basketball is an incredible global game. People love it everywhere. American football does not play like basketball in many of the countries, Central South America, Europe, for example. And Mexico is another one where American football just doesn't take hold as much as American football likes to think it would take hold everywhere. No, basketball is a better game internationally. So I love that the NBA is doing this. I love that they're overseas. The world's gotten smaller and smaller with the technology, with the planes, with everything that they have to travel with. And I really am excited to see where this goes in the future. But again, I ask, what did the Mexico fans do to get the Wizards. The NBA should be sending premier franchises overseas. They should be sending premier, and they do with the Miami Heat. That's a premier franchise, regardless of what you might think about the Miami Heat. It's a premier franchise. Look, they're in the bubble chip against the Lakers. They were in the finals a couple years ago against Denver. No reason and no reason whatsoever to be there either time. They end up there with their culture. You had the 4 in a row with the Heatles, 2 of them wins. You had the Wade, Shaq, even the Hardaway, Mourning, all those guys. Back in the 90s, the Heat have been a premier organization in the NBA for 30-plus years, ever since the day one Pat Riley faxed his resignation. That's how old we are and how old he is. Sorry, Pat. Faxed his resignation into Checketts and Grunfeld to leave the Knicks. Mickey Arison, smart enough to have your boats registered offshore to not pay the taxes. You're definitely smart enough to bring in Pat Riley. That's what he did. That's what he did. He brought in Pat Riley, and from the day Pat Riley got here, let me see. I know it was 1996. Pat Riley, Miami Heat. I know it was 96. They played the Bulls in the first round of the playoffs. I remember that Rex Chapman, Michael Jordan game, and I remember the Bulls smoking them. And then after that, the Heat got Hardaway and Mourning and all these good players to just make things happen. But with the Miami, he was 95, 96 was his first year. And they were third in the Atlantic Division. They lost in the first round. I remember that. It was hold on a second. Man, you're hitting the memory bank right now. It really was awesome. It was, first round. No, it's not giving me. Come on. They were 42-40. And the next year they were third in the Atlantic. The next year they're 61-21, then 55-27. Then the lockout year they lost Allen Houston, and that was just miserable. And Riley trying to keep it going, and then Stan Van Gundy becomes the head coach, and oh my God, were they bad. But then the Shaqquisition happens, right? And I remember I moved back to Miami from Phoenix, and we're talking about, when was this? I moved to Phoenix in 2000, from 2000 to 02, and I moved back to Miami in 02. I worked with Jeff DeForest at Live 85, Deef and I, big on the Heat. We're going to training camp right after they literally finished 7th in the Atlantic in the 02-03 season. It was absolutely terrible. They had Caron Butler and Rasul Butler, though, and you started seeing, look, you had Rasul and Caron and, Travis Best and LaFonso Ellis. But you had Brian Grant and, Eddie House was okay. He was a fan favorite. You kind of liked him. And Alonzo is there. And, the 02-03 Miami Heat. And remember when Alonzo had the issues with the kidney, and it just destroyed the franchise. But all those years with Miami, they get the Shaqquisition. I was on the steps of the arena for that day, and they go to the finals of the Eastern Conference, lose to Detroit. The next year, they come back and win the whole thing. And that was when, Pat Riley's last couple of years, he was 36-46 and 25-57 on the bench. It was terrible. Then Stan Van Gundy, boom, they go to the Eastern Conference Finals in the second year. Then Pat Riley, hey, I'll take the team over. They go and they win the championship in 06, but then in 07, 44-38, 07-08, 15-67. Not until one LeBron James came did things change over, and it was Spoelstra by then. And I remember Spo in the film room a long time ago. So since Pat Riley came, it's been over 30 years since the Miami Heat have been a marquee, premier, showcase franchise for the NBA, and that's Pat Riley's that dude. Mickey Arison's that dude. The Miami Heat, that organization. Dwayne Wade's got the statue in the street for a reason. Yeah, Shaq was there. Yeah, LeBron was there. And you could argue that Shaq and LeBron in the hierarchy of NBA greats of all time are both above Dwayne Wade. You'll never argue that any other former Heat player is above Dwayne Wade. And you had guys that have been to Miami and made stopovers, like either late in their career or earlier in their career, that, would be pretty high up on that list, but not above Dwayne Wade. Not above Dwayne Wade. And maybe LeBron is for sure LeBron is, and probably Shaq too, because as a center and the number of titles and all that stuff. But make no mistake about it, in 06, that was Wade's team. Shaq was hanging on. He was riding the Flash coattails as well. He was on the Cape. Peyton, Walker, Posey, all them dudes were on the Cape. And I remember coming back and seeing Dwayne Wade at training camp, man, his first year with Miami. And I'll never forget that 02-03 season. I had just moved back to Florida, and I'm going to training camp. And it is, Mourning was done. It was Eddie Jones and Brian Grant and Caron Butler coming in as a rookie. And that year, that team was really bad. They were really bad. And I remember Caron Butler, I'm thinking, wow, this dude could be pretty good. They got something building here with Butler and Jones and Grant. And then the next year for the Miami Heat. The next year for the Miami Heat was absolutely incredible when you thought about what took place when Dwayne Wade came in. And, the 2003-2004 season, it was, and I'll never forget, that last year, Pat Riley's the head coach, man, and things were not going well. They were not going well. It was Stan Van Gundy. It was Spoelstra. It was McAdoo. I love Bob McAdoo, Keith Askins, and then, of course, Pat Riley. And then 03-04, a pretty good draft pick came in by the name of Dwayne Wade. So you have Dwayne Wade and Lamar Odom and Eddie Jones, and Udonis Haslem came in with Wade, and you got to see a little bit of him. Rasul and Caron were a year in, and that was a pretty good team. That team was pretty good, and I remember that year because they did some things, man. They did some things, and you started to see some things happening. 42-40. They finished second in the Atlantic and fourth in the East. And I know I'm taking you down memory lane here, but that was a lot of fun, And then 04-05, they made it to the conference finals, taking on the Pistons because they brought in Shaquille O'Neal. You know what I'm saying? And they traded Brian Grant, and they traded Caron Butler, and they traded all those guys to get him. But you still had Alonzo Mourning and Shaquille O'Neal and Dwayne Wade, and oh man, I mean, even Eddie Jones came back. You know what I'm saying? So that was pretty dope. But ever since Pat Riley came through the doors, you've been a marquee franchise and organization in the NBA. 118-98, and that's why you get the Heat. But why do you get the Wizards if you're a basketball fan in Mexico City? What did you do to deserve this? What have I done to deserve this? Since you went away. Speaking of going away, we got a show to wrap. At Jim Grease _ on social media, GRIES. I'm Jim Greasehaber. This is your Locked On Heat postcast. 118-98. They beat the Wizards in Mexico City. 32 points, 14 rebounds from Bam, international Bam of mystery. International Bam Adebayo. How do we get Bam to play like international Bam when he's not on international soil anymore? We'll talk about that on the other side. Jimmy Butler slowly coming along, or is he dipping? Is he declining? Do I dare even ask the question? I guess I just did. This is your Locked On Heat postcast. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day, Miami. And I have one question for you. What time is it? It's game time. That's right. It is game time. No one had to tell International Bam that tonight, but I'll tell you this, man. The excitement. Imagine those fans in Mexico City. How many of them you think you got their tickets on game time? All those things that they could do. Maybe they're still waiting in line. Maybe they're still doing box office, roll call, will call, whatever you need to do, or getting them in the mail. No way. They're on game time like we are. Game time is unbelievable. I've been to so many games over the years of my life. I've been spoiled as a media member, but I always get tickets too, and I always love to sit with the people amongst the real fans. And I love that about game time because you get to see every view from the seats that you're looking at before you even purchase them, right? So you're in the app, you can see what you're going to see before you even get in there. Not the actual game. You'd actually have the Nostradamus thing going. You'd win all your bets. No, I'm talking about you can see what the view is going to be like. And that's one of my favorite things with game time. And as a matter of fact, you do that and you get used to it enough. You set your game time picks and you curate it for you right there in the app. And so what game time will do, they'll make it easier to find your ticket, sports, concerts, comedy, theater. And here's how. You put the parameters in, they curate it for you and only show you the specs that you wanted based on your preferences. It's called Game Time Picks. It's unbelievable. All in pricing. You don't have any surprises when you check out. Hey, why is it $60 more all of a sudden? You know what I'm saying? No. The panoramic seat views, the lowest price guarantee, or 110% of the difference refunded back to you in a credit. Game Time ticket coverage, the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. So what does that mean? That means for you, Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, simple. Create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Okay, Ora, what time is it? Game Time on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease, 118-98. The Heat take down the Washington Wizards in Mexico City. That is right. What's up, Daniel? Good to see you, my man. Good to see you. Look at me. Here comes the man in black. It's you know what I'm saying? It's great to be a Miami Hurricane. Look at that. No one can see my eyes. The eyes have it. I need uplighting. I guess I'm not going to wear the hat. But look, the Canes just like rolling up on people and rolling them this year, going to 9-0 with a big win over Duke today. We had the postcast. Check it out. It's here on the same YouTube channel and right here on the podcast channel as well, wherever you get them. That means Apple Podcasts. That means iHeart. That means Stitcher. That means Podbean. That means everywhere. Spotify. It's a worldwide phenomenon taking over the Locked On Podcast Network. Almost as great as International Bam. 32 points, 20 rebounds for Adebayo. Let's hit the box again, shall we? For the Miami Heat, 118-98. Look, they scored 31 points in the first quarter, 33 points in the third, and 29 in the fourth. Offense had it going tonight. The only one who struggled really was Jovic, who was 1 for 7 in the game. But overall, Jimmy Butler, 18 points on 6 of 13, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 turnovers. We'll talk about Jimmy in a second. Bam, 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 bam. International Bam, 32 points, 14 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block, but 12 of 24. He hit 3 threes tonight. He hadn't had a 3 all year long, and 5 of 6 from the line for Bam. Jimmy got to the line 8 times as well. Tyler, we need a hero. 15 points, 6 rebounds from Tyler, 12 for Rozier, 4 and 3. Look, Rozier and Herro, like neither one of them is a premier backcourt player. They're just about at the all-star level. Each guy is just about an all-star, just about there. Couldn't make it in a career year, either guy, but just on that fringe. But each guy being at that fringe level, each guy being right about at that all-star level, and it could actually make the team. Either guy, they play really well together. You know what I'm saying? They can both shoot, knock down the triples. They were a combined 5 or 11 from behind the stripe tonight. The arc, I should say, not the stripe. Yeah, it's okay, Jim. Anyway, Burks had 15 tonight for Miami. How about Burks 5 of 7 from 3? That's pretty dope to see what he did. Jacques Jr., 4 of 12. He had 8 points. For the Wiz, who cares? Poole had 21. Coulibaly had 22. But Miami comes away with the big win, and they absolutely earned it and played really well tonight. And I have a couple of things I want to show you on the way on out of here if the technology will let me. Come on, please. You can do this. I know you can. I don't know why it won't let me upload things as I'm on the air. I had one of them uploaded before, and it's the star of the game. We'll have the turning point for you, which really was when the NBA. How about we just say the turning point was when the NBA decided to send the Wizards to Mexico and punish the fans of Mexico City by sending Washington there. Why would anybody? They're starving. They don't ever get to see the NBA. So yeah, okay, well, let's send them the Wizards. Good Lord in heaven. And I don't know why the moment the turning point won't show. Here it comes finally. And remember, the graphic is still not fixed. I've been emailing the powers that be. We need all this done. So we show you the final score right here. 98-18. How about that? No, it was 118-98. If I put the third number up, it'll push it down. You won't see the word final. The order is in to get it fixed because they know that the NBA has triple-digit scores. So it's 118-98. They defeat the Washington Wizards. There's Jacques Jr. in his father's home country. And then the moment really was when the NBA decided to send the Wizards. It was an easy win for Miami. But Bam Adebayo drops 20 points in the first half. An international Bam getting it done tonight. And then your star of the game. I wonder if you know what it means to find your dreams. Bam Adebayo, 32 points, 14 rebounds, 12 of 24 shooting. He even had 3 triples, as Eric Reed likes to say. Bam Adebayo is your star of the game, or should I say international Bam International. But I'm going to start something with this. This is going to stick. I hope no one else has done it. They'll say I copied them. International Bam. 118-98. The Heat win, ladies and gentlemen. And you will see your Miami Heat next on Monday. Or if you want to, I will be here with the postcast after the game. That'll be Monday at home against the Sacramento Kings. I so bad still want to say Queens, but the Kings, that'll be an 8:15 tip in the MIAO, steady clanging yo, and then they go on the road. Phoenix, Denver, Minnesota. Whoa. Phoenix, Denver, Minnesota, Detroit, Indiana. Man, that's a lot of road games in a row. Phoenix and Denver, that's a lot of fun. You got Durant and Booker and Bradley Beal. Denver, of course, with Jokic and company, and Minnesota with the Ant-Man. So some tough games coming up. Sacramento, too, with Fox and Sabonis. That's a tough one on Monday, 8:15. Tip will be right here with the postcast right after. Don't forget, tomorrow, the Dolphins in a must-win game. 2-5 on the season, taking on the 6-2 Buffalo Bills in Orchard Park, New York. Yeah, almost at this point, a lost season for the Dolphins. How will they respond? We'll be here with the postcast right after the game. Tomorrow, it's a 1 o'clock kickoff, and then don't forget the clock's changed, go an hour forward. And then the Canes next week at Georgia Tech. They're 9-0, baby. Let's keep it popping, pimping, and keep it going. The Heat play Monday. The Heat play Wednesday. The Heat play Friday this week. They're at Sacramento at home. They're at Phoenix. They're at Denver. And then they play again Sunday at Minnesota. So a busy, busy week and a lot of things going on. But for now, that's all there is, Heat fans. There is no more. Your Locked On Heat postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. One more time for your mind. Your favorite podcast has a newsletter. A new newsletter. Hey, introducing the Locked On Heat daily newsletter. One stop for Ultimate Team League coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com. And start your day with all the new free Locked On Heat newsletter. I just read something that I'm not sure was a sentence, but that's the way it was presented to me. So that's the way I present it to you. I'm going to say one more thing. Keep your game tight and your mind right, Miami. We are out.